ich groll nicht, und wenn das Herz auch bricht, ewig verloren ist.
Greetings and welcome back to the Galley of the Sun. So, a few weeks ago, I bought a Chernobyl pork loin. I don't know, it was ginormous, and used the portion I needed for that meal, and I was left with 2 more pork loins of this size. So I thought to myself, what can you do with the rest of this? Normally my go-to is pork shoulder or pork butt because there is way more fat in there. That's what I love to put in Mexican stews or other type of slow cooking dishes. But then I thought, hey, schnitzel. Who doesn't love some schnitzel? So today we're going to make some Jägerschnitzel. So I'm going to take my pork loin and I'm going to cut these into about 1/2-inch steaks, if you will. Or I guess it would be pork loin chops, wouldn't it? I'm going to cut them into chops. All right, so any Austrian worth their salt will tell you that this is way too thick for a schnitzel. So it gives me an opportunity to bring out my mega meat masher. We're going to take this, and we're going to take this, and we're going to flatten it to less than 1/4 inch. If you don't have one, everybody needs a mega meat masher, and there's a link down below where you can get yours, just like mine, and look cool like this. You don't have to pulverize it into a paste. All you want is a good, even, thin chop. So I'm going to beat the crap out of the rest of these, and then we'll be back to get these things breaded up. See you then. Pork pounding operations are complete. Now, I'm going to season each one of these on both sides with a little bit of salt and pepper and some smoked paprika. And I'm doing the clean hand, dirty hand method, and I realized I'm right-handed, and I made my right hand the dirty hand, and this ain't gonna freaking work. I gotta wash my hands.
Amateur.
Yeah, your dominant hand needs to be the clean hand. Okay, smoked paprika. And now we're going to set up our dredging station. When you're doing something like schnitzel with big hunks of meat, I like to use trays instead of dishes. So, in our first tray goes flour. Just all-purpose flour, nothing fancy. In our second tray goes breadcrumbs. I have these breadcrumbs that are actually pork rind crumbs. Seems appropriate for this. So this is not traditional, but that's okay. Austrian inspired. And for our middle station, we're going to take 3 extremely young boneless, skinless chickens and mix them up. Scramble them, if you will. Now, how much you'll need of each of these is all dependent on how many pieces of pork loin that you have. But worry not, dear friends. Down below in the description section, there's a link. That link will take you to the galleyofthesun.com where I have my full recipe. If you're that kind of person that needs amounts for everything, they're there. I'm going to do this first one here for you and then continue on after that, but you know the drill. 3-station breading station. Flour first, then we dip into the cackleberries, and then into our breadcrumbs, or in my case, pork rind crumbs. Whether you're making Wiener Schnitzel or Jägerschnitzel, which the only difference is the sauce, yeah, it's going to be all the same. All right, so I'm going to get the rest of these breaded up, and then we'll be back for the cooking part. See you then. So all of our schnitzels are breaded. Let's get to cooking them. So in your largest skillet, which happens to be, for me, my 13.25-inch Lodge cast iron skillet, we're going to get that on medium heat. We're going to start out with about a 1/4 cup of veggie oil in here. Just enough to coat the bottom. As we cook, if we need more, we'll add it. But we're going to do the Jaeger sauce in this same pot, so I don't want to get crazy with the oil. Crazy. I'm also setting my oven to warm, so as we get done with each of these, we'll chuck them into the oven and keep them warm as we're making our sauce and our sides. Now, this isn't going to take long to cook at all because, remember, you only need to get pork to 145, and those loins are incredibly thin. So really, about the time that you're happy with how the breading looks, the meat's going to be done. You won't have to worry about that. If you are worried about that, it's going to set in the oven on warm, which is greater than 145 degrees. It'll get there. You'll be fine. That oil is shimmering, so in with our first schnitzel. And as I said, I'm going to give that about 3 minutes per side. At the same time, I'm making up a couple side dishes. I got some tiny taters in the air fryer, and I'm also cooking up some cabbage along with some red onion, some mushrooms, butter, and bacon grease, of course.
Hell yes.
Alrighty, 3 minutes per side. When your schnitzel's looking like that, that's what you want. Into the oven on warm. So I'm going to get the rest of these done, and we'll see you again when it's time to start making the sauce. All my sides are done. Just about to pull off the last of the schnitzel. Get that into the oven. And we will start to make our Jaeger sauce. So first of all, in goes in some bacon grease. How can this possibly be wrong? Now I'll tell you right now, I'm not making traditional Jaeger sauce. I'm making sort of a creamy Jaeger sauce. That's okay. In with our bacon grease goes our onions and our mushrooms and a little bit of olive oil. We're going to saute these until they're soft. Should take about 5 to 7 minutes. I'm happy with the looks of my onions and mushrooms. Now let's add some more ingredients. Some double concentrated tomato paste and garlic. Gonna mix all that together and let it cook for about a minute until it's good and aromatic, or until you can smell it. Now we'll sprinkle in our flour, and we'll stir that and cook that for about a minute to cook out that raw flour taste. Now we shall slowly add our beef broth, stirring the whole time, making sure we don't get any lumps. Now we'll add our red wine, because red wine. This is looking and smelling glorious, and we're not even done yet. Finishing touches, Dijon mustard, a little W sauce, fresh thyme, and we'll stir in our heavy cream. I'm going to bring that to a simmer, let it go for 5 to 7 minutes, let it thicken up a bit, and then we're going to get this plated up and get some judgment. So we'll see you then. All right, the schnitzel's all done. Now I'm going to bring in a wonderful woman to tell us how it is.
Okay. A little more saucy on that. Oh, that's delish. It's very, very good.
Screams Austrian to you, huh?
Absolutely.
All right, there you go. You don't always have to make Wiener Schnitzel. Sometimes you can make Jaeger Schnitzel. Give this a try. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today. Until we see you next time, fair winds at following seas.
Ich scrolle nicht.